This is Devin Croswell with Sherpa Design, and I'm going to show how we can add a command to any of our shortcut menus that we have available in our NX user interface. Those shortcut menus are the menus that pop up when I click on something using my first mouse button, or right click in the background, right click on the context of an object. I get certain tools that pop up depending on what I'm clicking on. For example, if I click in the background using my first mouse button, I get a pop-up menu, a shortcut menu that pops up. And if you'll notice that it's a little bit faded, that's because if I move away from it, it disappears. I'm telling NX that I don't actually want to use this right now. I just wanted to click in the background, click on an object. If I do want to use it, I will move towards that and then select one of the tools that are available that NX thinks I want to have quick access to. And I can change what's on these menus. For example, if I select on an edge of my part, the pop-up menu, the shortcut menu that I have, only contains blend. So let's say I wanted to add a blend to my part. I just move towards that menu, select on edge blend, and that command starts its dialog. And I can add a blend really quickly to my part, click OK, move on to something else, select my edge again, get that shortcut, continue along. Let's say though, instead of blends, I also want to add chamfers. I want to have an additional option on that shortcut menu. Well, how I can customize my user interface inside of NX is with the customize environment. And I can get to customize if I right click in the open area of my ribbon toolbar, kind of scroll down past the visibility list to the bottom. I have customize. I can also jump into this via my keyboard with Control 1. And when I enter into the customize environment, you'll notice it gets a little blockier. A lot of my menus, my menu areas pop up. So for example, I have a left border bar here with nothing on it, and NX isn't showing that to me when I'm in my regular modeling environment. You also notice that I can't do anything in this environment. I'm clicking on these commands. Extrude isn't starting. I can't extrude anything. I'm just moving these things around, moving my environment around to best suit how I want to work. The other thing I have access to is the customize dialog with a couple of tabs, one of them being commands. I can search for the commands that I want to use. For example, chamfer. All the tools, the commands that have to do with chamfer will pop up in this list, and I can utilize them where I need to. One thing I want to point out before I actually add a button to my shortcut menu is that you saw I was using my quick pick to select the edge, and that's because NX defaults to feature as the first priority for selection. And if I want to change that, let's say I know I'm selecting a bunch of edges and I want to accidentally grab a face of a feature, face of the extrude, I can go to my selection tab and I can change the top selection priority. I can use this pull down here, change this to edge, or Shift E from my keyboard. And now that edge is a lot easier to select. And I can jump into my tool via my shortcut menu there. I still have access to the extrude, to the face, to my quick pick list, if you will. But the priority, the thing that it's kind of defaulting to as a selection, is my edge right now. And so I can switch back and forth to what I'm selecting really quickly there. So to go back to customize, I now want to make an edge selection so that my menus for that selection pop up and I can customize them. So I'll click on edge here. I have a menu that pops up that is a radial pop-up menu. That's what this square is. My mouse will usually be in the center when I'm using this kind of style of menu. And I will have an array of commands that surround my mouse, and I can just move to one of them to activate it. I don't have anything on the edge version of this pop-up menu, but I could add something if I really wanted to. The one I'm focusing on though is the shortcut menu, that first click with my mouse menu that pops up. and I want to add chamfer to this. Right now it's just showing me blend. There is a small down arrow for the option to add quickly another tool, and that tool being chamfer. I can just check on the visibility of that with my shortcut menu. However, sometimes with the way my screen is, the size of my monitor, how big I have my icons and things like that in my user interface, I may not have access to that arrow, or it might be hard to select. So if I do need to add that, and I can't really grab my border here, my down arrow, I can search for chamfer like we saw earlier, and I can click, hold, and drag this and put it wherever I want. So in this case, I want to put it on that shortcut menu. And now I have on my shortcut menu for Edge the chamfer button. All I have to do is close out of this environment for customize and go back to my regular modeling environment, select on an edge, and now I can add a chamfer to my part. So we're just taking a look at the ability to add any command we want to those shortcut menus in our NX user environment.